Hello! Of course, the program is Talk Shop, where we tell it like it is and let the chips fall where the bloody hell may. Let the chips fall where they may. And as we say all the time, truth crash to earth shall rise again. And I'm glad that many people are watching and many people are listening. And thank you so much for your comments. Trust me, I read them all and I may not be responding, but I appreciate every single comment that you guys send, and I really do appreciate it. So for all of you that are listening, I come here and I talk, and I really say this a lot. Truth crash to earth shall rise again. What happens when you crash the truth to earth? Today we'll talk about it. But then again, the question I'm going to ask next is the answer that you always tell me when I ask this question. What time is it? You tell me it's nation time, man. It is nation time. No, we're going to build this nation, folks. And like I said, just in the previous edition, it's not just a slogan. It has started as a slogan, nation time. What time is it? Nation time. It has started as a slogan, but trust me, we have an agenda, and the agenda is slowly coming. Right now, things are still, the election has been had, the president has been sworn in, still parliamentary things, they are sorting out the parliament, they are sorting out things to get the full cabinet. And when everything is in place, president, the vice, the MPs, the deputies, everything is set, then we shall switch into our other gear, and then you start hearing the plenty things we need to say and do about building this nation, because trust me, Mumpo, this country will rise again. And I know that there are many against people who are fighting against it, but forget it. We will not sit down. The sad thing we do as this nation is that the good people, the intelligent people, the people of conscience who need to speak sometimes remain quiet because they say, hey, Charlie, when I say this, they will understand, blah, 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 until we'll sit down quietly and allow nation wreckers to dominate the agenda. That has ended. That has ended, man. The agenda now is going to be nation building and not nation wreckers. So today on Talk Shop, I'm thinking, what his name? Musa Dankwa, that great guy who did the what do we call that, analytics before the elections. Musa Dankwa, and he came up with certain analytics before the election, and he made certain predictions that many people thought were wrong, and they condemned him. And I remember my good friend Paul was even questioning him. Hey, Musa Dankwa, where do you come from? If you don't understand this word, come let us teach you. Remember?
When you study political research and somebody does this kind of things and says he's called Musa Dankwa and he's doing political research, as if we don't know what political research is, and the media houses, I don't even know whether they have political sciences there. What kind of research is this? What is this? Musa Dankwa, what is this? You can say NDC will win, nobody cares. You can say NPP will win, nobody cares. But don't disgrace political research. Musa Dankwa, you are disgracing political research. What is this? Where is this coming from? What is this? Musa Dankwa, you are disgracing political research. We don't like that. If you didn't study political science and if you're going to learn it from some cocoa place, don't come and embarrass us. Steve Odo is an NDC man, but he will be embarrassed by this. What kind of research is this? What is this? Musa Dankwa, what is this?
That's right. That's what he said. He was so confident that Musa Dankwa was wrong in his predictions, but he was right. Musa Dankwa uses what he calls analytics, which means he has a sample size and scientific approach and all of that. Today I'm going to do some analytics, but I call mine Funalytics. F-U-N as in fun, having fun. Funalytics, because mine is not based on any scientific nothing. I don't have any sample base. It's basically how I feel about things in terms of Funalytics. So let's have fun. Let's break down where Ghana is now and where Ghana is going to be in terms of our politics now and in the near future. Yeah, Funalytics kakra. Some people have been asking, what is the future of the NPP? Yeah, Funalytics. What is the future of the NPP? Others say that the next possible leader that may possibly emerge to lead the NPP is Bawumia. Some have said that no. The way things went there, Kennedy, Agyapong is going to emerge and become the new leader of the NPP. Now listen to my Funalytics. So, according to my Funalytics, is none of the above. Bawumia or Agyapong. According to my Funalytics, and yet based on anything, I could be wrong, but according to it, none of them. Let me tell you something, folks. You know why I think Bawumia, where he lost the ball? I said Akufo dropped the ball some point B. Someone here say Nana dropped the ball. Bawumia there, he lost the ball. Let me tell you what happened, folks. And I've said it before. When Bawumia opened his lips and he said these words, he said, you can do all the propaganda that you want, but when the fundamentals of the economy are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. Listen to what he said.
You cannot manage the economy with propaganda. You can engage in all the propaganda you want, but if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you.
Exactly. When the fundamentals are wrong, the exchange rate will expose you. Guess what? It is true. And it's a fact. Look, and I've said this before, you can check some of my earlier shows. I came and I said, Bawumia spoke the truth. That when the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. I commended him, said he spoke the truth. He calls it a truism, whatever he wants to call it. It is true. But do you know where Bawumia went wrong? Where he went wrong was that, unfortunately, after speaking such truth, sadly, I don't know what went to his head, he decided to treat this truth as a partisan issue. That's why he went wrong. He turned it into a partisan issue, which meant that when you were saying that when the fundamentals are wrong, the exchange rate will expose you, he was thinking that this only happens under the NDC. You see where he went wrong? So when the NPP came into power, of which he was the vice president, and that same crap started happening, the CD was even performing even worse. The fundamentals had gone bizarre. What happened? Instead of Bawumia coming and telling us that, listen, I know I said this, but we are messing up somewhere along the line, things are not right. The truth, if at that time Bawumia had looked Ghanaians in the face and told the truth, say yes, me and Bekai, that when the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. And now the exchange rate is exposing us because we are missing certain fundamentals. Bawumia should have spoken the truth. But do you know what he did? He crashed the truth to the earth.
You will recall that I stated in 2014 that if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. That was true then, and it is true now. So if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. But it is warped logic to jump from that to a conclusion that if there is depreciation in your currency, then the fundamentals must be weak. Do you understand the logic? It is very warped logic. If the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. But if the exchange rate moves, you cannot jump to that conclusion that the fundamentals are weak.
Truth was crushed to the earth. I am telling you, seriously. Bawumia, think about this. If at that time you had stayed with the truth and said that, yeah, you know, the fundamentals have been a bit rocked because of certain bad policies, and so you have to reverse that. But this is politics. How can you come and admit your fault when you're doing politics? So you find some lie to say and blame it on the lie. Unfortunately, he shifted from the truth. That, oh, this is because of, he started giving some other reasons. Sadly, Ghanaians are too smart. They say, Master, you are lying. Admit that you are lying. And that's why, unfortunately, people started calling him Bawumia, and then it just developed from there. What point I'm making is this, folks. Truth crashed to earth shall rise again. When he decided to crash the truth to earth, it cost him. It did cost him because the fundamentals are weak, and it is true. But he should not have taken a partisan line. He shouldn't have been. He should have been bold enough to confront it as a truism, as he called it. And trust me, if he had been bold enough to confront it, when he decided he was running for president, and Kamau found it too much. When he decided he would run for president, they would say, oh, but I saw this guy, he's very truthful. Even when things were going wrong, he came and explained that things were going wrong. But that's not what happened. He came to justify certain things. Okay, so to me, that very act of Bawumia sitting on the truth has condemned him for a while. I don't know. I don't see him as emerging again as a leader of the NPP because he crashed the truth. And truth crashed to earth shall rise again. And what rose again was that the economy was not in the correct direction. Now, Kennedy. He's also another guy people who have said may or capable of being the new leader of the NPP. Well, according to my Funalytics, there's a problem with that too, from where I sit. Do you know? Because Kennedy at some point actually attacked Bawumia. He was on air openly saying that Bawumia said he was an economic whiz kid and messed up. Listen to him.
I was suspecting the way the year 2016 oka economy who was year and compensation see our call round to make economy was. The man said when Mahama media no crazy in Mumpa and I can Agyapong or my NDC ammunition NDC for Muntikuruma. When the man said, say, when your fundamentals are weak, your exchange rate will expose you. When he was saying that $1 was 4 cedis, and the current DC for say 3 cedis, 80 pesos, and today 11.5. The rate of depreciation. What are we going to say? And media baby, no credit be aniaka. Now they were unfairly or a mate.
So that was Kennedy. And do you know how his credibility shot up in the polls? People really believed him and people really adored him. They said, wow, this is the kind of leadership we need. Somebody who can, even from his own party, say, hey, we went wrong. So something has messed up. And that was Kennedy Agyapong. So when he came out boldly, and he was brave enough even to attack Bawumia, his ratings just shot up, way up, you know? And people were like, oh, Charlie, this man there, he's a no-nonsense man. This is the kind of person we need to be president. He's truthful, he's factual. And from this behavior, we can tell that if Kennedy will be president, should be president, he is the only one who can crack the whip. So Kennedy's ratings just shot up when he hit Bawumia, a man from his own party. His ratings shot up. You remember? Even to the point that he threw himself in the race and said, I'm running for president. And he had very, very high rating. You know, when they went for the nominations, he came even before Alan. It was Bawumia and then Kennedy. A very, very, very impressive showing. Why did he get that showing? Because of the truthfulness and because he was able to, even at that point, even though Bawumia came from his own party, he attacked Bawumia and said, listen, you have messed up. We call you an economic whiz kid, and you did mess up. So all of a sudden, he showed up.
He gave 170 questions to Vice President Emisata to answer. And then they also have Vice President or President Tedia. Yentimi and Kanya Waka. Also, you have the inflation and the lock and key. Is that what is going on from 11% to 47%? Is it an insult or the truth? Because I'm telling you your own words that you use. I'm repeating it. And we have to be bold and speak the truth for the country, for the good of Ghana.
Trust me, it's the truth crushed to earth is the most damaging thing you can do. After his great things had shown up, and he was seen as the man who tells the truth, right? What happened after he had declared, "You give them a showdown"? Do you remember how popular that showdown became? Nana Memo showdown, Bawumia Memo showdown. Remember that?
President Akufo Memo showdown. Vice President Memo showdown.
So he mobilized practically so many people from across the political divide. NPP, NDC, CPP, whatever Obia was looking forward to Kennedy showdown. It lifted him up. But then again, what happened, folks? When eventually Bawumia emerged as the leader of the party, what happened? All of a sudden, they were out. Bawumia was out campaigning. All of a sudden, there was Kennedy sitting side by side with him on the bus. He's also an NPP guy. He has said what he had to say, but now Bawumia has won. Maybe he's an act of sportsmanship. They are together. It's okay. But where Kennedy messed up is when he actually got on the platform and said that Bawumia is the person to vote for.
Dr. Bawumia said, to number one, if he said, Dr. Bawumia wanted Nana Akufo-Addo essaying above 3 years as a whole buying Ama and Kola 5.7 million actually across secondary school. Chaboy, the cost of free SHS law, the only person Obetimi aba protected Ama Wumia Wofie Oba Wofie I want to school at this is ultimate Dr. Bawumia.
So you heard him. Now, folks, after this man had taken such a principled stand and had actually said that Bawumia has messed the economy up and his ratings and credibility shot up this high. And this is where he was, that high. He jumped on the platform and finally, the same Bawumia that he said was not a whiz kid, but he is the person who has damaged the economy, but he's the one people should vote for. He dropped like this, boom. What am I saying? Is that he also decided to crush the truth. The truth was that, yes, Bawumia messed up. And the truth was that, yes, he was able to confront that and his credibility and popularity shot up. But when he crashed the truth, he came down crashing with the truth. And so, for that reason, Charlie, he destroyed his credibility. He himself will tell you that after that endorsement, things changed. Things shouldn't have changed. But by his own words, at one point, he said that people were speculating that Bawumia or the NPP had offered him $200 million to join them, and he turned it down. Why? Because he said he doesn't want any money. He actually said they had offered him $800 million, and he turned that down. Why? Because Kennedy said, because Ghana first. Listen to this.
Approach me. Me say delegates any Ghana who don't. I would never do it.
Time FM.
The money they offered was $800 million. If he doesn't know, you should ask Mr.
Oh, they offered.
They offered $800 million.
Not even 500.
No. Says I know Candia, and I'm saying they see for Ghana first.
Great. So we all agreed. Wow. This man is principled. He actually said Ghana first, and he turned down $800 million. After that, it was so surprising to see him sitting back to back with Bawumia and actually campaigning for him.
December 7th, to Obama NPP. Mia Kasa, remember Messi, 12th classroom block, and they are checking.
So that killed his credibility right there. And that sent him tumbling down. This is politics. 2024, 2028, I don't know what can do, but you know what they've said about how Ghanaians can easily forget. Maybe Ghanaians will forget it, but I'm telling you, the bulk of the people that were supporting him lost so much faith, lost so much confidence. Kennedy, what happened? People believed you, and people were with you. And you when you started talking about showdown, you skyrocketed. But when you actually got on the platform to campaign and said he is the only option Ghanaians have, I'm going to say, man, we wouldn't correct.
Dr. Bawumia said, to number one, if he said, Dr. Bawumia wanted Nana Kufuado essaying above 3 years as a whole buying. Emma and Kola 5.7 million actually after secondary school. Chaboy, the cost of free SHS law, the only person obetimi aba protected ama wumi awofie oba awofie a won susu obeko school atimi akobino. This is Automa Dr. Bawumia.
Man, we wouldn't correct. I mean, how can you flip-flop to such an extent? So if you are looking at my Funalytics, don't forget to hear Funalytics, which means you are having fun. This is not based on any deep research. It's based on my lying down in my bed and thinking of things. Until I'm being out of fun. And if it's out of my Funalytics, I'm telling you, Bawumia lost the ball because after he had come up with a very fine truism, he went against it in his own words, and that shattered his record. And again, Kennedy did the same thing. After attacking Bawumia, also went back on his word and shattered the same thing. So all I'm saying is that looking in my Funalytics ball, in the future, in the near future or in the far future, I really don't see Bawumia as the choice yet. He has a lot of work to do to come out as the choice. Neither do I see Kennedy Agyapong as the choice yet, because the level of flip-floppedness that he exhibited was outrageous. So I don't see him either as a choice. So now let's move on. I'm still doing my Funalytics. We have had the election. There was what we call the green sweep across the nation, how the NDC swept across the green sweep. Now that NDC is in power, I think we have what, 180, 186, something like that. And the NPP has 88 members of parliament. Now going forward, looking at my Funalytics, what do I see? Let me tell you this, and please, I hope that you take my advice, especially the both of you parties in power. Take this advice and look at my Funalytics and see how it plays out. The way I see it is this. Look, let me start by advising Afenyo Macho Marking at the NPP. Take this advice. The era of what I call reckless pronouncements are over. There was a whole era when people could make reckless pronouncements. And then they were the macho ones by being reckless. I'm talking about the Wuntomistic era. No matter how unrealistic or how silly it was the era of reckless statements. Please, that era is over. So my advice to the NPP is that, as Bawumia had said some time ago, that the loss has come, he's going to regroup and go and rethink, and the NPP will come back out.
We will regroup and come back even stronger.
My advice is this. If you want to come back out, please understand this, that the era of reckless pronouncements or reckless rhetoric are over. Be very, 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 very careful. Here's the situation as I see it. The NPP may have the mentality that, yeah, we are in the minority, so what? We are 88, so what? Whatever we do, the majority will have their way. So the best we can do is to disrupt and be disruptive. That is where I see in my Funalytics, that is where I see the agenda is heading. You are the majority, we are a minority, but we will disrupt you as much as we can. And let me say this, the disruption is what I used to call the era of reckless rhetoric. It's over. It is over. The era of reckless rhetoric is over. So Afeminyo King and Anodompre and the whole gang of you who believe that even though you are in the minority, you don't care, you have the ability to disrupt. Let me tell you, that era is over. To the NDC, I beg you, also don't fall into the trap of responding to reckless rhetoric. Don't fall into that trap. I remember at some point when the election, I think they were going back and forth in the US, what's her name said something that I will never forget. Michelle Obama. He says, when they go low, we will go high. And I really respected it. When they go low, we will go high, which means that when they come up with reckless rhetoric, let us counter it with something that has wisdom, that is above the reckless rhetoric. So NDC, I'm advising you, when they go low, don't you go high. But if you fall into the trap where you decide to meet the reckless rhetoric boot for boot, you see how you end. You know, because that's what we do in Ghana. Where? I'll prove to you that I'm more stupid. Where Jimmy see me? So in Ghana, it's like when they go low, we must go lower. That's our politics in Ghana. When they go low, we will prove to them that we can go lower. Please know, the era of reckless rhetoric is over. And I'm advising the NDC that don't take your majority for granted. Say, we are in the majority, so everything should go our way. No. Please, we have now entered the era of what I say is called thoughtful communication. That's where we are. President Mahama and your Vice President, Excellency Nana Jane Opoku. We are in the era of thoughtful communication. So please make sure that your communication is thoughtful and precise. Don't make the mistake to fall into the trap that will meet you boot for boot. When they go low, stay high. When they go low and you decide to also go low with them, you are doomed. Please. So I want you guys to understand that this new era is an era of thoughtful communication. Parliament, that's why I say I'm waiting for the whole parliament to be made up of everything, your ministers, the deputies and the cabinet and everything in place. Then we can really also start engaging. But until then, please, Parliament, please be aware. Look at what happened recently in Parliament when I think Zaneto was speaking and somebody shouted, sit down, daughter of a murderer.
Daughter of murderer, sit down. Daughter of murderer, sit down. That's evidence.
How stupid is that? How crazy is that? Can we respect Parliament so that even the procedure is orderly and it makes sense to everybody? Do you know how reckless and crazy and unwarranted that statement was. Of course, people have blamed, they said it was Agyapong. He has totally denied it. And he says it is not him.
I don't speak in that nature. I don't speak in that manner. The words which are being falsely attributed to me are not words that I will ever use. That's not the way I speak. It's totally false. It cannot be correct. I mean, anybody who's followed my life and career will come to the conclusion that Agyapong will not speak that way. I don't even speak across the aisle when I'm in Parliament.
Me, I don't know, but listening to the voice, that's not the voice I know.
Sit down. That's evidence.
Maybe it's him, but that's not the voice I know. So I sort of believe it is not Agyapong. But at the same time, I think whoever said it, Parliament knows, and they should smoke him out and discipline him so that we move in a new direction. We move in a new direction. Folks, the kind of direction I'm talking about is this. Number one, NPP accepted that you lost, and you lost miserably, and that you're in a minority. And as a minority, you cannot contribute to anything intelligent other than thoughtful communication. Because if you come up with the approach that we are the minority, but we can prove to you that we can self-disrupt, you're going to disrupt yourself out of the public eye and out of politics. But disrupt us, then there will be no longer any NPP. But if you want NPP to re-emerge as a party of substance, then it's not about reckless rhetoric. It's about thoughtful communication. Sit down and communicate thoughtfully in this new parliament that you are in. Don't go with an agenda of disruption. That's called, you have defeated yourself from the beginning. It's outmoded at birth. You can't. So if you continue this way, my dear NPP, and I tell my friends in NPP all the time, the same thing I tell them, I'm telling the public who are NPP, I'm telling you, if you continue this way, this wuntumistic characteristic of we are macho and we are here to disrupt, trust me, you're going to end up creating splinter groups in the NPP. Remember some time ago there was some kind of splinter. There was then what they call the Progress Party, and that's really the UP. The UP transformed into the Progress Party, and then there was this confusion, and then there came the UNC, which was a split in the party, and the UNC was headed by Ufurata, not Ken's uncle or granduncle or something. And there was a split in the NPP for whatever reasons. The reasons then were the Ashanti conflict that erupted into the split, and that came about with the UNC by Ufurata. All I'm saying is NPP, if you don't tread cautiously, according to my Funalytics, so you can disregard that because I'm not scientific. But according to my Funalytics, if you don't tread carefully, you're going to create more splinter groups in the party. This time, it's not going to be an Ashanti and Achim rift. No, this time it's going to be a rift between those who think that they are nationalist and they are patriotic, as against those who they think are just corrupt and misleading the party. You watch it and see. If you don't get your act together and reinvent the NPP to become a party, even though a minority, but in parliament, but contributing constructive thought to the discussion instead of disruption, you're going to create another splinter group in your party. So that's my advice I have for you from my Funalytics. The advice I have for the NDC for my Funalytics is this: please Don't ever take it for granted. Say we have to test majority, so yeah. We will have our way to do what we want because we are the majority. No. Please be mindful of the path that you're taking. If in fact the NPP decides to also come and give constructive thought, listen to it. If the minority comes up with any thinking that is constructive, listen to it. Also, don't put yourself in a position and say, we are the majority, so we'll do what we want, we will overrule whatever you say because we are the majority. No, don't get into that. I beg. And the reason you don't get into that is that you told this line, and the line is that when they go low, we go high. Stick to that. When they go low, we go high. And for the minority, please advise yourselves. Advise yourselves that this rule of disruption to prove that you are in the majority but you have the ability to disrupt won't work. It won't. Take my advice. And folks, by the way, I'm sorry I'm using my left going back and forth plenty because my editor, when he whooped my ass, this thing hasn't recovered yet, so I still have to go easy on him. But then she'll be a better. But no, that's why my left is becoming so busy because this guy, he's under new management. So let me wrap up. When I look into my Funalytics ball, this is the advice I'm giving to wrap it all up. Minority, start thinking that we have reached a new era, and the era is no more about reckless rhetoric. We don't speak just for heart will speak. You know? Like somebody sits on the air and say, whoa, boy, wah. Hey, reckless not to. Me say, whoa, boy, wah. Oh, wah. Oh, wah. Oh, wah. Ha! I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. Ha!
Who born dog?
Who born dog? Who born dog? Who born dog? It's reckless thought. It doesn't make any sense. We have moved past that. Let's get to the era of really constructive thinking. Minority. Listen to whatever the majority debating, blah, blah. Put something down that even the majority will say, wow, we are the majority, but actually we have to listen to this. Why? Because it makes so much sense. It is not reckless. It is intelligent. And my dear NPP people, that's how you can carve your way back into the politics of Ghana with respect, not the optimistic approach. I beg. And my dear majority, I appreciate your majority, but also remember that don't take it for granted that we are the majority. So we are ruling the way we want. If a constructive thought comes, take it. We're there in Ghana, we are building on. And that's the thing. At the end of the day, we are building Ghana. That's why I keep saying, say, baby, where we are at, it's not between NPP and NDC anymore. Sure, political wise, these are the two strong parties. But where we are at in terms of trying to build our nation, it is not NPP, NDC anymore. Those who in the NPP are bent on saying, still our NPP will disrupt, do your thing and see where that will land you. And if you're in the NDC too and you're thinking, no, we have the majority, and even if you break some crowd, we won't listen to any intelligence because you see where that will end you. Let us realize, all of us, that we have moved past the era of reckless rhetoric, and let's enter the era of profound thinking and thought and discussion. And you'll be surprised what that will do to Ghana. Whether I'm just speaking generally, But I'm waiting for everybody to get in place. We have the parliament, we have the ministers, we have everything. Now we can really talk. With the advice column, looking into my Funalytic ball, I'm advising you based on my Funalytic, what I see. So let me end it here, and we'll be back again very soon with some more stuff for you guys to think about. The program is Talk Shop, where we tell the truth and let the chips fall where the bloody hell may. We will be back again.